So the Summer Games Fest just happened this year. I usually dislike watching the Game Awards. It's usually like 2 hours of games I don't really care for necessarily. There are some decent games here and there, but I usually skip out on watching the streams. But I personally think this year's Summer Games Fest was actually pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. So there's like always something funny that happens like every year, and this year is no exception. The Splitgate 2 segment was so funny, bro. So there's like this guy that comes on stage and he's wearing a hat that says "Make FPS games great again," and he gloats about loving Halo and wanting Titanfall 3.
We've built Splitgate 2. Why? Because I grew up playing Halo, and I'm tired of playing the same Call of Duty every year. And I wish we could have Titanfall 3.
But yeah, after that they unveil a Battle Royale mode for Splitgate 2. Now this doesn't really remind me of Halo or Titanfall. This actually reminds me of Apex Legends, and I am not exaggerating, they chose to play Imagine Dragons of all bands in the trailer. Like, that is a choice that somebody made. Bro, they should have hired me instead. I would have chose like Avenged Sevenfold or something instead. I wish I could play more of the song, but you know, copyright and all that. But yeah, Splitgate 2 should definitely hire me to make these better trailers for them. No, but jokes aside, I looked at the Splitgate 2 Steam page, and the game is totally getting review bombed right now. Let's look at this review. Bro wears a Make FPS Games Great Again hat and makes the most expensive store I've ever seen and releases an unfinished Battle Royale. Like, bro, that is so funny, I'm not gonna lie. But no, besides that, I think the Summer Games Fest is actually pretty good this year. They announced a brand new Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Requiem. Bro, I am so excited to play this game. Resident Evil is my favorite horror franchise ever. Bro, this image straight up looks like a Slipknot cover. Like, bro, that is so tough. And there's also a brand new Scott Pilgrim game that got announced. I did enjoy the Scott Pilgrim movie that had Michael Cera, and I did read a couple of the comics and watch a couple episodes on Netflix. I think it's a pretty cool series, but I was always more interested in the video game that came out alongside the movie in 2010. Now, there's actually a very interesting backstory behind the original Scott Pilgrim game. There's like some huge licensing issue with the game, and the game got delisted for like 10 years. I'm not joking. The Scott Pilgrim game was pretty much lost to time. Unless you purchased the game digitally on PS3 or Xbox 360, there was no actual way to acquire this game anymore. And out of nowhere, they re-released the game on modern platforms. And it was pretty awesome that they did that. I think the game itself is pretty cool. It's like a retro style beat 'em up. It has a few RPG elements. Whenever you would level up, you would unlock new moves. And you can also spend money to upgrade your stats. But I think the best part of the game was the music and the boss fights. When I first played this game, I was actually pretty surprised by how cool some of the boss fights were in the game. And yeah, the game is only like $15, so I would highly recommend you guys to check it out. But anyway, there's a brand new Scott Pilgrim game, Scott Pilgrim EX. And yeah, it looks like it's gonna have like a original story. It also looks like the characters are designed based off like the later issues of the comics, which is pretty sick, I can't lie. But yeah, overall, I think Scott Pilgrim EX looks a lot more fluid in comparison to the original game. I think the sprites in the original game are like jittery. I don't know how to explain that. There's always something that felt weird about the game, but I still did thoroughly enjoy the game. But this new game is also being developed by Tribute Games, and Tribute Games has made some good shit in the past. Yeah, they made a Ninja Turtles game that I bought like day one. I'm like not even that much of a fan of Ninja Turtles, and this game was fucking awesome. So yeah, this will most likely be a good ass game. And speaking of beat 'em ups, there's actually another beat 'em up game coming out, and it's called Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This is another game that was showcased at the Summer Games event. Yeah, it's like an arcade style beat 'em up. It's like in the same vein as the X-Men arcade game. The X-Men arcade game was really fun, so that's actually pretty awesome that they're revisiting this. And yeah, I think the game will have 14 or so playable characters. Yeah, hopefully the game will be affordable, but it looks great. They even have Nova as a playable character. That's insane to me. Marvel does not give a damn about Nova, so it's actually pretty awesome to see him in a game. And speaking of Marvel, there's a brand new Deadpool game coming out. It's been such a long time since we got a Deadpool game, and the Deadpool game that we got was delisted like 10 years ago, so the game is also super rare. But yeah, in my opinion, the game did not age that well either when it comes to like the gameplay. So this new Deadpool game is unfortunately a VR game. I'm not big on VR, those games make me nauseous, so I kind of refuse to play VR games. They have a pretty good voice actor for Deadpool. I think Nolan North is like the perfect Deadpool voice actor, but that is my personal opinion. But yeah, the gameplay looks pretty fun, and the Deadpool humor is all there as you would expect.
Spider-Man gets insomniac, and I get this shit?
So if you do like VR, this game will probably be for you. Alright, so the final game that I'm going to cover is Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Now, I was initially not that excited for this game when it was first revealed, but no, this is like a bombshell of a reveal. They're adding Hatsune Miku, they're also adding Ishiban from Yakuza, I really hope I did not mispronounce his name, and they're also adding Joker from Persona as playable characters in the game. I think Hatsune Miku is the most hype in my opinion, but they also revealed that Minecraft characters are coming to Sonic Racing. I can't lie, it actually looks pretty sick. Unfortunately, the Minecraft characters are going to be paid DLC, but I don't know, I might have to buy it. I was hoping that Sega would eventually make a new Sonic Riders game. I just love like the extreme sports feel of the game when it came to like performing tricks and stuff. And I also really enjoyed Jet the Hawk, who is a brand new character introduced in Sonic Riders. But yeah, this game is definitely more focused on being like Sonic Racing transformed. So at first I was not interested, but I then saw that Jet the Hawk is actually playable in the game, and they're also adding the boards from Sonic Riders as vehicles in the game. Yeah, they're called Extreme Gears. But yeah, Sega is like making like the Smash Brothers equivalent of a racing game, and I'm actually pretty interested now. I do have to address the elephant in the room. The base game is $70, which is too much. I'm sure they put a lot of work into this game, but I feel like the $50 to $60 range would have been a lot more better. I also saw like screenshots where you could have like rivals to play against. Like there's cutscenes of them trash talking you, and it actually reminded me of like the trash talking in Sonic Riders between Sonic and Jet the Hawk. I don't know, I think that's kind of awesome that they did that. I actually really do respect the work that was put into this game. I think the funniest part though about this segment, the guy on stage took shots at Mario Kart. He said the game will be cross-platform unlike Mario Kart.
So, unlike another kart racing game, this game will have online cross-platform matchmaking.
I'm not gonna lie, that was good. But yeah, as I said earlier, I was not that interested at first. I've lost a lot of interest in Sonic over the years. I mainly just play Sonic Riders here and there for the vibe, but I feel like this game is going to be chaotic and fast-paced, which I really do like. And I also heard this game is going to have a lot of customization when it comes to like the vehicles and stuff. Oh yeah, even the Werehog is going to be a playable character in the game if you pre-order the game. On the bright side of the game being expensive low, the game probably will have a massive sale. Most Sonic games are only like $5 when they're on sale, and I feel like Crossworlds will be like $50 or $60 on sale, and I do predict that they'll make the game significantly cheaper over time. So yeah, if you guys are interested in the game but don't want to spend $70, I completely understand that, and I would personally recommend you to wait for a sale. I know there's a lot of discourse between this game and Mario Kart World costing a lot of money, and yeah, these games are both overpriced. I think they should both be cheaper. I don't think arcade racing games should be this expensive. Yeah, regardless of how good they are, I just can't find a way to justify that. With that said though, I probably still will buy the game, but that's just me personally. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in any of these games. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip.